Hello,
everybody. We are getting up here now. Yay! So, Ken, I think it's a little solo plan for you here. I don't know. All of a sudden, I saw him pull up a drum. I'm not real sure what that's about, but he's a good drummer. So, we'll go ahead and listen to him. Little
those
static dance. There we go.
Those drum circles are pretty cool.
I love drum circles. Yes. One at the Cosmic Yogi Festival was awesome. Massive. Yeah. Ryan Taylor solo. I know.
But awesome. I haven't been one lately.
I haven't either, but we could go. You could pick one and we could go.
Okay. Mm-hmm. I was in Chicago when the last one happened.
Oh.
There was one at Jim Hunt, Sun Yoga.
Yes.
Ooh, Sun Yoga. That should go on my list.
Yeah, no. Trust me.
I know.
We love Sun Yoga. I teach in Sun Yoga.
So welcome to Ken Goldberg's Law and Disorder with your co-host. This is Ken Goldberg.
No, he's the host. I'm the co-host. Oh, co-host. I get it now. It's been a hard day. Do you like my new earring?
Kidneys, man. Kidneys.
Do you like my new earring?
Oh, yeah. I was noticing those earlier.
My little lotus flowers. Thank you.
Yeah.
I bought those from one of our vendors at the Cosmic Yogi Festival. That was
a little plug for the Cosmic Yogi Festival coming up in November that AJ puts on every twice a year.
Yeah. Big one's coming up in November.
So,
and we have Ken here, who's I have to laugh because it baffles me that he's so intelligent to be an attorney in 3 states, but he is this dude. Okay, so it just baffles me.
Wait a minute.
When you know him personally, it baffles you.
I want you to know the state of Illinois, Arizona, and Texas.
They're all baffled
all three
too.
Are baffled too. Yeah. So a
probably
little
not
story.
Happy about it.
There, you got some Esteban. Esteban, stay on. So here's a little anecdote. So I got licensed in Illinois first in '87. Right out of law school, take the test, passed the test in Illinois. Go to Arizona at some point. Well, I went to Arizona. Things didn't work out right away. Came back to Illinois, came to Texas, hung around for a while, went ahead and got my license here. Then I went somewhere along the line. I went to Arizona.
Okay.
God, I can't remember.
He can't remember. He's having a brain fart, but that's okay. But as I said, surprise, this man has passed all the bars. But he did.
Robin says water lilies grow, but I can't see the rest of it because remember, I don't know how to do this.
Okay. Well, stop doing it and go back to the things on the screen.
Grow from the mud.
Yeah.
So, what was I saying? Oh, so I go and I've got to take a test.
Yes.
But before I take the test, I signed up for something called the bar review.
Sure.
Okay. And I don't know how many months it is. It might have been 3 months. It's long
and tedious.
And so I go every night, 5 nights a week.
Jesus.
Okay. For I don't know how many months. Malcolm, welcome, Malcolm, Hillary, Mel, Radine. Oh, so I'm like shiny object. I monkey with a shiny object. So I sit there and I take the test. I pass the test. And the pass rate is low, but I passed. I show up for the swearing in a couple months later. They tell you, come on down and get sworn in.
Sure.
I'm like, you know what?
I'm going to go do that. Yeah. Meet some people.
You're in a
have a good time.
Big room, an auditorium somewhere. I think it was the Civic Center in Phoenix, Tempe. I don't know.
Okay.
And I walk in and I see some of my classmates. I mean, everybody there was not my classmate. There was a handful of people.
Right.
They literally got this shocked look on. So I said, well, they're looking at me. And I said, what's up? And they're like, you're here. And I'm like, I swear to you. I said, yeah, I'm here. They said, that's amazing. And I said, what's amazing? They said, you slept through the entire course. How did you pass it? I said, I can't explain it, but I did.
Jeez.
I don't stay awake well in the evening time when people are lecturing you and, you got to sit there How are you supposed to stay awake?
But it's called school.
Yeah.
Education.
Isn't it amazing? I slept through law school too. So,
I believe you.
so you
Do
know,
you just read and remember stuff? Is that what the deal is?
no. I don't know what it is. I would get up at 5:30 in the morning. I'd go to the gym. I was in good shape then, and I would work out for about 2.5, 3 hours.
Wow.
Yeah, and then I'd go, have something to eat. Get down to school. School started at 2 and went till 5, and you didn't change seats. You sat from 2 to 5. You got
In the same-
breaks.
Right,
But
right.
they changed teachers for 2 semesters because you didn't have any choice in what classes you were taking. You took what they
Right,
told you
right.
to take. You had 3 classes. And then a 4th one was a writing class, but that's irrelevant. So I'm sitting there. I'm like this.
Why didn't you stand in the back of the room? Could you have done
Oh,
that?
I didn't want to stick out. So
Trust me, you already were sticking out. You were going to sleep. I would have asked you to leave
So-
if you were in my class. I would have said, get up and get out of here.
well, I remember the property teaching property. So you have boring classes and then you have property.
Over
Okay.
the top boring.
Perpetuity, rule of perpetuity. Anybody out there know the rule of perpetuity? Unfortunately, I do know the rule of perpetuity, and it takes a law property teacher, oh man, maybe a month or 2 to explain it. Yeah, it's very convoluted. So he
Okay.
goes to movies, just gets up on his sleep. So she asked me a question.
Yes.
I answered it.
Yes.
Move on. Guy next to me, he's there for 3 hours for a
Right.
semester. It's like we go out for the break. We get an hour. You get a break every hour.
Okay.
He walks up to me. How do you do that? How do I do what? How do you answer a question when you were sleeping? He said, I know you were sleeping. I could hear you sleeping.
Oh, you're snoring.
I said, I don't know. So next semester, he comes up to me again during the break and says, you were sleeping again. And I don't mean to be mean to people.
Yeah, yes, he does.
No.
You know what? Sometimes it's just natural. For him.
Glenn,
He's a dick
Glenn
sometimes.
Sorsh. Glenn was a very sweet guy.
And you were mean to him.
I wasn't mean. I just
Yes, he
said,
was. If he's
no,
saying he was mean, he was mean.
No, what I said is, I've been sleeping since I got here. Get over it. When did I stop sleeping? So why is he still noticing?
It was bothering him because you were able to pass and do well like that. And it probably would have bothered me too because I couldn't have done that and passed. So here he is, probably studying his butt off, and you're sitting there sleeping.
I don't know if those guys study their butt off, but I don't know. Maybe they did. So that's law school for you. Very droll, except for criminal law. And I think I mentioned to you here on the show previously that we had a case in the evidence one, and I knew all the
No
witnesses.
way!
Didn't I tell
I
you
don't
that?
remember that. That's
Yeah,
funny.
there was a murder in my neighborhood, Hyde Park. A university student was gunned down,
Oh, that's sad.
and the case was it's in the evidence book, and it listed people that I grew up with. They
Right.
were taken into custody. They interviewed their witnesses. So I'm sitting there going, "Oh yeah, cool," and everybody's looking at me like, "Huh? How do you mean know these people?" I smoked weed with them. What do you want from me? Right? So,
But you didn't inhale.
so law school was tedious. It
yeah,
really was.
no, I couldn't have done that.
And then you went up to the library. I didn't even know what a carol is. Do you know what a carol is?
No,
You don't know what a library carol is?
you
So-
mean the things where the cards were?
Well, it was a place you sit and you can study in the library.
Yeah, that's where I studied all the
It's a
time.
little
little cubbyhole.
cubby.
Oh, okay, yeah, I had those.
And they called them carols.
I didn't know they called them carols. We
I
didn't
don't
call
feel
them
so
that.
bad now, but for 35 years,
No, I
I've
didn't know
been
that.
wondering.
And that's where I studied all the time. Where that was in there.
So we had carols in the library,
Okay.
and there were two. There were the ones that were reserved, and you could leave your books in. They were for people that had reserved carrels for whatever reason.
Okay.
And then there were the open ones. And you just go up there and
Yeah, mine
you
was
find an
open.
open one.
Yeah.
Well, I didn't like carrying my books. There's a lot of books in law school. You don't want to carry your books. So what I found out was research assistants automatically get a carrel. So I went to Professor Sang, sweet guy, taught constitutional law. And I said, Professor,
Poor guy. He didn't
who's
even
your,
see it coming. Did
who's
he?
your research assistant? Oh, I don't have one, Ken. I'd like to volunteer. He's like, excellent. Happy to have you.
Did you help him at all? He didn't even help
So
though,
they, wait, no,
man.
no, no. They pay $15 an hour, I think, at the time, or $10, whatever it was. So I got my carrel. I got a unlimited photo card,
Oh wow.
and I just farmed out all the research to other students
Oh, okay.
that needed the money.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so
Yeah.
he got his research.
Okay,
done.
good.
He was
Good.
writing books on constitutional law all the time. Nice guy, really nice guy.
I got paid for accounting. I was the accounting assistant teacher, or whatever the hell you want to call it. Accounting. Do you know how badly I hate accounting? And that's what yeah.
Well, do
Accounting.
you want my anecdote about accounting?
What?
Or do you
Hire
want to
one?
go on to these?
Hire one?
No. In my
Don't do it yourself.
freshman year of high school, I went to South Shore High School for my freshman year, and I took whatever they tell you to take
Yes.
because I'm a college bound. So you
Yes.
know I'm taking a college bound, college preparatory curriculum,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
And one of those is algebra.
Okay.
Okay, so I took algebra with
I think everybody has to take algebra in high school.
Benedict. His name was Benedict. Professor Benedict. I don't
Is that
think
really
we call
his
them
name?
professors. Huh?
Yeah.
His
I
last
hate
name
it.
was
My pet
Benedict.
peeve is when people have you call them professors when they're not professors. It goes master's, doctor, professor.
Patty loves us both.
Hmm.
I don't know if Hillary is still here. I think Hillary, but she went to high school with me.
Oh, okay.
She was there my freshman year. She may remember Benedict's first name. I thought I knew it. Anyways, so I barely get through algebra. You know, I confess, not real good with sciences and math. And so I go show up for school this sophomore year, and my geometry class is missing. Somebody's giving me accounting and bookkeeping. I mean, you know, mistake was made.
Oh,
So I'm like, mistake has been to go to the office, you know.
right.
Excuse me, you know, it says I've got accounting and bookkeeping and geometry's missing. Well, we'll take care of that, sir. So it takes a couple of weeks to get your schedules because you
Sure.
know it's probably 500 kids with their
Oh,
schedules
yeah.
screwed up.
And back then we didn't have the computers the way you have.
So they fixed me up.
We actually had to stand in line and have it signed when you're registering for college. You remember that? Have to have little things initials.
Honey, I didn't go to college, remember?
Oh,
So I get
law school
assigned.
only.
I get assigned to geometry, and it's Mr. Benedict again.
Jesus.
So I walk in and I hand him my pass, you know, because I'm 2 weeks late.
Yeah.
I swear, he looks at me and he goes, Mr. Goldberg, I thought I signed you up for bookkeeping and accounting.
Oh, that is hilarious. The teacher did not want you in his class.
He didn't want me in math
Why did you switch to geometry?
because it's college prep.
Oh my God.
I look at him and I'm kind of like, I'm so naive.
Right.
I'm like, oh, you did that. No, I'm taking geometry. Like I didn't even get the point of
That he was trying to help
that
you
he
out.
didn't want me.
Well, I think
taking-
he's trying to help you out too.
Well, in his own way, I
think
think
he
he was, but he
But he
was-
also didn't want you in his class.
well, I could have got another geometry teacher if, you know, it was the luck of the draw. But Mr. Benedict was he was like right off the movie screen. Bad suit, bad fitting suit, same suit, wrinkled, bad dandruff,
Are
bad,
you serious?
bad hair. I mean, it
Oh
was-
my
he was-
God.
if you had
And
to
what was
pick
he? What was he
the nu-
in? Like what?
math, geometry, algebra.
No. So he had like a doctorate in math or something.
Oh, I don't know what it. You know, I didn't never asked anybody what they had.
Oh my God.
And by the way, so to get through geometry, my family had to hire a tutor because I was falling behind so quickly. And so I eked out a C
Okay.
And he came up to me, he's handing back your final
Mhm.
test or something. And he said, congratulations, Mr. Goldberg. You did much better than I thought you would. I'm so proud of myself.
I know.
So I finished my sophomore year of high school. I finished it. I didn't pass it, but I finished it. Then
An attorney in 3 states.
it
Just
was-
saying.
it was
That's the
highly
bar.
recommended that I go to boarding school.
Yes. Oh, and this is when you were shipped off.
Right. But before we went, the school,
And then got kicked out 3?
the next year.
Yeah. 3
Yeah.
times? 3 different schools?
No.
Oh.
I only got kicked out of one.
Oh,
school.
I thought it was one.
The
I thought
others
it was
I
2 or
just
3.
walked away from.
Oh, okay.
So the new school said, we're going to have a little difficulty placing him. So criteria number 1, he's got to take the sophomore year over. What do I care? I was years ahead of myself. Remember, I was 12 going in.
Oh, yeah, I forgot
So
that.
being held
Okay,
back
I'm sitting here making fun of him, and then I just realized he's 12.
wasn't going to be that big a deal.
Okay.
Okay. And I wasn't going to be with my class anyways. I was going away. Number 2 has got to take, even though, okay, I don't know the sequence, but they sent a placement test to Chicago because it's New Hampshire. Said he's got to take this placement test so we can place him.
Okay.
Yeah. So I placed at the 6th grade level in math and science.
Okay.
So they were like, okay, time out. He can come. He's got to start with algebra. I had already passed algebra and geometry.
Well, obviously not well. If you're getting a 6th grade math score.
They wouldn't let me in unless I agreed to take algebra.
Okay.
Which again, I didn't really care at this point. It's my 3rd year. I don't care anymore. So I had to take algebra over. I had to take, and I almost flunked it again. And then I had, luckily nobody was paying any attention to that one.
Okay, good.
So I had to take, they finally let me out of French because I had flunked that enough times that the new school said, you know what we're going to do is we're going to, do I do this or what do I do?
I think you're going to have to redo it. I would just
Okay.
leave it if it's not.
So pretty much, I guess I was a marginal sophomore. So then they kicked me out.
How many classes did you fail that you consider yourself a marginal sophomore? Mhm.
Well, I had flunked gym
Okay.
at South Shore High School. I had flunked English. I'd gotten a D- in biology.
Oh my God.
And then I got C's.
What were you doing? Did you just not care?
I don't remember exactly because it was a long time ago.
Seriously, you remember something. You remember not turning in your homework. You remember doing poorly on your that's not that's so I don't know. Were you just so bored in class? That
Yes, I was very bored.
Well, so then why didn't you do well on the test if you just weren't paying any
No, I
attention?
did okay on some tests.
Okay.
Which test are you referring to?
No,
Not the math.
no, I'm not talking about that. I just mean in class that you're flunking.
They used to call my parents and bring them in and say he tests well on those.
But he's not turning in homework or
but
projects or anything
he's
like
not.
that.
Yeah, we need him to
Classwork.
do his classwork and his homework. And my father used to sit me down at my desk in my bedroom.
Uh-huh.
I had a desk in my bedroom.
I did too.
I was,
We were real high rolling when we were
Kathy
young.
says drugs, maybe. No, this is pre-drugs. We'll talk about it. So he would sit me down at the desk and say, "You're going to sit here until you finish your homework. I'm going to beat the living daylights out of you."
Okay. Did it work?
And, I'm thinking not.
Okay.
So,
Yeah, that didn't help. That kind of, yeah.
in fact, the school
Because you're
got,
going to do the opposite of what he says at
the
that point.
grade school
Yeah.
got frustrated. I remember the grade school getting frustrated and asking to see my father. They were tired of seeing my mother.
Right.
So they're
Yeah,
like,
it's bad when they
they're
go
like,
to
you
dad.
can't come back till your father comes, right?
Right.
So I go home with the note, and my mother says, they want to see you. And he just was like, well, I'm not going. You just go with them. He wasn't going. So he didn't go, and they didn't keep me out. They
Yeah,
talked
they're
to
not
her.
allowed to.
Yeah. So, anyways, that's I don't know how we went down this
Memory
memory
lane?
lane. Yeah, the drugs didn't start until somewhere in my third year of high school. My brother.
God,
Turn
I
me
started
on.
smoking pot in the 7th and 8th grade. You were late.
Well, you're younger than me too. You're much younger. I
Yeah.
was a pioneer. Why am I looking there? I was a pioneer when I started smoking at age 14. Remember, I've told
It's the
you all
hippie
these.
generation. Everybody was smoking. My brother was smoking. He's your age.
I told you this story. My friends in South Shore were calling me a degenerate
I
for
remember.
smoking pot.
I understand, but you must not have been around the right people to smoke pot. There
Well,
were
when I
plenty
moved
out
to
there
Hyde
smoking pot.
Park, the kids there were smoking pot.
There
The
you
Hyde
go.
Park kids were drinking Robitussin.
Oh yeah,
and
no, I didn't do
smoking
that
pot.
shit.
Yeah,
There was
they were
plenty of
drinking
alcohol in my house.
beer, Robitussin.
Yeah, there was plenty of
and
alcohol
pot.
in my house.
So
Yeah.
I got introduced to these kids who I felt socially retarded when I moved there because I'd done some pot. That was it. All right, so but that's not what the show's about. The show's not about my childhood.
Thank God.
The show is about law and disorder.
Which is Ken's childhood.
So so listen, I've got my daughter's car. She's in Korea.
Yeah, both of them were in
and
Korea.
I'm driving her car.
For a month.
And yeah.
Wow.
And I swear to God, there's something wrong with the car. I thought. So thank you.
You're welcome.
I go up to Roadmasters. The Roadmasters is 405 South Central in Richardson. I used to have a shop there too,
Mhm.
but I didn't work out so well. So these guys bought Roadmasters, and I've been pretty loyal.
Okay.
Well, I've been pretty loyal.
Okay.
Where am I going to go? Right. So I went there, and one of the owners
Bicycles, not motorcycles.
puts this thing scanning, checking
Are we talking about car or bicycle?
car.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm way off.
Prius, Toyota Prius.
I'm way off. I'm like, no, he's talking about his bicycle, not
Yeah,
motorcycle.
no, Roadmasters.
Car.
Cars.
Oh
So-
my God. I'm so out of it.
So what happens is, oh Jesus, you scared me. Well, they made a determination that there was nothing wrong with my car,
Okay.
and the reason I bring it up is because
Why do you think something's wrong with it?
I thought it was acting up.
Is it acting up? How can you think it is? It either is
Well,
or it
because
isn't.
I went for new tires yesterday for
Okay.
my daughter because she, God forbid, she would notice that there's no rubber on her
But that
tires.
was very sweet of you, Daddy.
You know.
Aw.
So I
I
went
might
in.
need new tires.
So I thought,
Can adopt me too.
I got, yeah, I need that. So I got two new tires because I already bought her two new tires before. And I think they must have run the engine because if you know anything about a Prius, it's a hybrid.
Yes.
And you can't run it in neutral. It won't recharge. It just. So when they gave me my car, I was driving and all of a sudden it was acting up. When I got by J.J. Pierce High School, thing wouldn't barely move. And I looked down, the battery was drained, and that freaked me out. And so I freaked. And I was driving around trying to get the battery to come up because the more you drive, the more.
Oh, I
And
didn't know
I
that.
just felt it wasn't doing the right thing. So I went over, I stopped the Roadmasters because they're
Maybe
good.
you just don't know how to drive a Prius.
I had one since 2006. I think I've got it down
You
by
think?
now. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. And the one I have now is held together with glue and duct tape. So anyway, Steve, he does the thing and this is a computer thing. And so here's my point.
Point. There's a point.
What a gift to know reliable,
Yes.
honest
No, that is.
mechanics who actually do all the stuff and say, you're fine.
That's nice. Did it drive fine home?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Tomorrow I got to take it, cruise it, build some battery up.
Oh,
Yeah.
you don't plug it in. It's
No,
not one of those kinds.
no, it's not. It's a
Prius is just
it's a hybrid. So it's got
Gotcha.
internal combustion engine and a battery. So 405 South Central, the Roadmasters, those,
Great.
because it's so hard. I mean, most people are reluctant to go to an auto mechanic.
Right. Well, I am.
Right.
I'm a female.
And the reason
I don't like going to a car dealership.
because she doesn't know what'll happen.
Mhm.
You don't know if you'll be treated fairly. You don't even know if you'll be treated
I know.
honestly, much less
I know
fairly.
if it wasn't for Kevin McCarthy helped me when my Mustang got hit. If it wasn't for him, I don't know what I would have done.
All right. So, law and disorder. I think this is interesting. In Knox
Oh,
County,
yeah, this is sucky.
Tennessee, what the prosecutors decide to do,
Tennessee. Ooh.
okay, is they've created a category that is now being nicknamed Walmart burglary. And here's how it works. You shoplift, you get caught, you get charged with shoplifting, you get convicted. When you're convicted, you're also told the night before, Walmart says you can't come in here anymore. We revoke your access
Right.
to Walmart.
Well, I mean, a lot of places do that when you steal something, but they're charging them with shoplifting. I'll shut up.
So what happens is now somebody goes back and shoplifts again, and the prosecutor's saying, now this is burglary. Well, wait a minute. Burglary is breaking the curtilage.
Correct.
It means that there's some sort of boundary that you have illegally crossed.
Right.
You broke into my home.
The window, the door.
So it's normally either one, it's a private domicile or
right.
building or something, or two, it's a public place that's locked.
Correct.
Okay.
Otherwise, you're not supposed to be in there.
So what she is saying is that, well, your right to be there was revoked previously.
Correct. I'm following it now.
So now when you enter,
But
you've
they didn't
entered
break anything.
illegally.
Yeah, but they
so
didn't.
you're committing a
So you're
burglary when you steal
trespassing.
from it.
Yeah.
And so
Yeah.
now they're charging you with a felony, even if you steal $30 worth of
Right.
CDs, for instance.
I mean, I can't even imagine with the way our system is and overcrowdedness that they're going to charge a felony with somebody who steals $30 worth of food or something.
Felonious burglars from shoplifter. You know, I was telling a story to somebody just the other day about this young man that worked for me when I was a lawyer. He had a couple of theft charges and drug charges. When they hired me, I felt bad because his mom was paying the bill, and you know he was okay. He was 23 years old, and so I said to him, "You know what? Your mom's struggling to pay me.
Sure.
You work for me.
Yeah.
You take care of your bill that way."
Right.
And he did.
Right.
Okay. So we got all his
Great
cases
way to do that.
resolved. He was a heroin addict. He went into a Christian recovery house where he lived for a year.
That was good. Did it work?
Well, they wouldn't let him go to 12-step.
You're full
They
of shit,
wouldn't let him
right?
go to, no, I took him to NA.
Why would somebody tell you not to go to something that might help?
I took him to NA. He was
Oh.
willing to go to NA. And the preacher, whatever the guy was, you know, it was mostly all black. He was black. The pastor was black. Pastor, whoever ran.
I know what it was. They found out you're Jewish.
So I took him to an NA meeting. He liked it. And then he came back next day and said, you know, I told them where I was. And he's got to I said, no. This is what this community, this Christian community. So he stayed out of trouble, carried my briefcase. Here's a little story for you.
Well, what happened to him?
I was going to tell you.
Oh, is it the briefcase story?
Well,
Why?
the briefcase story?
I
What's
don't
the
know. You went
briefcase?
to the briefcase thing, and
Well-
I got confused. It was like you dropped off one of the stories and jumped to a briefcase.
Right.
Like,
Well,
I
he
didn't
was
know what was
I asked
happening.
him to carry my briefcase.
Oh,
That was really what I asked him to do because my back was bad. And I'm running around with this briefcase with files in it.
right.
So you carry my briefcase and whatever I need you to do, mostly physical stuff.
Mhm.
But, you know, as time wore on, I was sending to pick up cash
Okay.
because we'd be in court. And this is the God's truth. I get a phone call. It's what's his name? Andrew's mother. And she's got money. And we've talked about it. You know, she says, Ken, I got $250. I got $400, whatever it is.
Right.
You know,
You got to go get it then, or it's going to be gone.
Right. So I'm like, I get the keys. I had a BMW, right? I'm like, Sabrin, boom, man, go pick up that money. I remember sending as much for $2,500
Yeah.
cash. He always came back with my money. Good guy. You know, remind me, look a lot like Malcolm X. And So one of our little side anecdotes as I navigate to what this has to do with this is I took him to a party for my private investigator who was housed in a office with some lawyers,
Okay.
and they were having a little open house.
Okay.
So we went. Well, one of the lawyers was dating one of the judges in our case.
Oh.
So we went to the party. Next day, cross my heart, that's the court we're at. So when you're a lawyer in Chicago, you always stick your head in and tell the judge you're there when he's in chambers because you're a private attorney. You're like,
Right.
just want you to know I'm here. And the judge said, "Oh, you were at the party last night for my girlfriend." And, yeah. And he said, "And who was that nice young man with you?"
Oh, that is hilarious.
Oh, I like, funny you should ask. He's out there right now. He's the defendant.
Oh my God.
And,
Are you serious? That
serious
is
as a heart attack,
hilarious. What
right?
did the judge's mouth just go?
Yeah, he was a little surprised. He said, "Well, you should make sure that comes out during the trial." And I said, "Yeah, okay." I explained to him. So
Oh my God.
you've got people, but you see, you got to scroll.
I said hi. I said like.
Yeah, you had new people.
Oh, Clyde's there. Hi, Clyde.
So Sabrin worked out. By the way, the judge, we had a trial.
You're really stumbling through this.
We had a trial.
Yeah. Oh, trial.
And that judge
Yes.
found him guilty.
Oh.
Called us up to the bench. Me and the prosecutor said, "I don't want to hurt this kid."
Uh-huh.
So go tell the other judges on his other cases, "I don't want to hurt him because it's a felony."
Okay.
Tell them, work this out, then come back to me and I'll sentence him.
Okay, cool.
'Cause I don't want them to treat this like a violation of this case.
Gotcha.
So the other case
That
is
was
dragged.
nice.
The other case is dragged on. That's
Oh.
the way it is. They were in 3 different courthouses.
What did this kid do?
Well, he was either shoplifting or dropping drugs when the police pulled up.
Oh,
So
maybe both.
So one day I showed up to court on something else, that courtroom,
Mhm.
and the judge said, "Come here, Mr. Goldberg." And he said, reversed my ruling. I found him not guilty.
Oh.
And I said, "Wow." And he said, "Yeah, the cop was in here last week," and I asked him what he thought. And apparently he bumps into you too also.
Oh
And he
my
said-
God, that's
He
hilarious.
said,
I
"Kid
love
sin."
how our justice system works.
Said, "Kid
The
sins
good
that-
old boy system.
That's
Mhm.
not a good old boy. Come on, good old boys. I golfed with the judge. Not I was in the
You
sandwich
were in a
shop.
party with them. What a golf party.
I don't know, maybe.
Uh,
But the cop, we
But
ran
it was
into him
good for
at
the
the
kid.
Subway shop.
so what ended up happening to the kid?
So he relapsed
Okay.
because after his 12 months were up, the pastor, whatever this guy is, it's been a long time, told him, you got to move out now. So he moved out and he didn't have
When
a
he had no
support.
support group.
Yeah, so he
Yeah.
relapsed. Then I fired him. And then he called me up and he said, "Come, please help me."
Right.
He had been mugged.
Oh,
He went out to do guys some drugs and they beat him up, took his money.
right.
It was all took him to Cook County Public Hospital,
Mhm.
County Hospital. And then I took him to this cheap detox, what do you call it? Salvation Army.
Okay.
I couldn't get him into a treatment facility. There were no beds.
Well, they don't have treatment
No
facilities
best.
here for no insurance either.
So he kept stealing
Mhm.
to support his habit.
Mhm.
Went to prison.
Mhm.
I went and visited him in prison. And he died of an overdose.
Oh, that's so. Well,
I know
that
you thought
sucks.
with all the
I
good
thought that
anecdotes,
was
I
gonna
gonna
be.
know it.
Oh man,
Right?
the kid dies. Did you
Yeah.
couldn't you have left that out?
Well,
oh,
you know how I found out? His mother wrote me many years later. I don't know how she found me because we had left Chicago.
Mhm.
She found me, wrote me, sent me his obituary. It was a big loss for me. But my point is, this shoplifting, the court prosecutors are unwilling or incapable of distinguishing the property crimes that are facilitating the addiction or vice versa, on how to do that other than to create these recidivists, that means repeat offenders, and to keep running them through the system to no avail.
Right.
It doesn't work. You and I know that
Well,
doesn't
right.
work.
Well, I are they really doing this? I mean, like
They're
they're
really doing that. Now it's up with the Tennessee Supreme Court.
Okay. Well,
And the
that
Tennessee Supreme Court says they're going to try to decide whether this really is a legal ploy. Apparently, they're judges have
It is a legal ploy.
lower court judges have already ruled that they think it's cool, even though it's a bit novel. The Walmart and other retail establishments may generally consent to entry by members of the public at large during normal business hours. Such consent is clearly revoked when an individual has been notified in writing that they are no longer allowed on the property.
So because he went back on and stole, then that's going to be a felony.
That's how they made it into a felony.
Wow. Okay.
Okay.
Wow.
So a little law and disorder.
If you're hungry, don't go steal at Walmart. Just thought I'd tell you.
This one I think you'll sink your teeth into, but I could be wrong. I found out a couple hours ago the Parkland school shooting in Florida, which happened about a year ago?
Yep, it was almost a year ago,
right? Okay, so we've all known there was a resource policeman. They call them school resource officers.
Yes.
There was a policeman there, and I think we had helicopter footage of cops coming in from.
Right.
Anyways, 14 months later, now after a 14-month investigation, the sheriff deputy assigned to the school was arrested today. And he's been charged with negligence, and he's been fired. And the Miami Herald, which reported, said that the Florida Department of Law Enforcement shows former Deputy Peterson did absolutely nothing to mitigate the Marjorie Stoneman Douglas shooting that killed 17 children, teachers, and staff and injured 17 others. The commissioner for the FDLE said there can be no excuse for his complete inaction and no question that his inaction cost lives. So he's been arrested.
So the guy was standing outside, if I remember correctly. Isn't that right? Wasn't he outside of the school?
I don't, but it says here that he heard the gunshots,
but he ran the other direction.
Yeah.
No, he did. He ran in the other direction, but then also it said that he was even keeping police officers 500 feet back from the school when the police officers showed up. It even said that. So I don't know. Maybe he just did not know what to do. Maybe he freaked out. But I don't know. Charging him with that because he freaked out. I don't know.
Well, I told you once.
Are you going to charge him for being a coward?
Well, they did.
I know.
So I told you that in Columbine.
Yeah.
Did I tell you my theory?
No.
Okay. Good as time as any. Tell her my theory.
All right. Theory on
Columbine. Okay. By the way, I'm in bowling for Columbine. The very back of my head, I'm shooting an Osama bin Laden target in the movie.
Oh.
It wasn't filmed for the movie. They took it off a newsreel.
Okay. That's sort of funny.
So, but you can tell it's me if you know me. Anyways, Columbine, I have a theory. There was a school resource officer there. Now, we know what kind of devastation happened that day. I have scrutinized the reports. There are almost nothing about the school resource officer. I found that suspicious. First off, I was concerned what he did during all this activity. And then I saw the briefest of interviews. I don't think I saw him. No, maybe I saw him. Anyways, I know for certain he said he discharged his firearm. So here, as a firearms instructor and somebody who trained law enforcement, I have this to say. I believe that school resource officer probably hit a kid and not one of the two Columbine
Gotcha.
boys. I think he opened fire, and when he hit somebody innocent, I think he flipped and split. Because why do you split?
Right.
You got a gun. You're the only thing that's standing between.
Well,
these
I understand,
two
but you're
kids.
different. A lot of people would freak out. I don't care. I
But
mean, you and I would run into the fucking building. I'm sorry, into the building. I mean, we would. I've run into fires. I've gotten kids out. That's what we would do. However, most people would not do. I shouldn't say most. Many people would not do that. They freak. They go into shock. They don't know what to do.
I swear this guy said he fired his gun.
I believe you.
So knowing what I know about missed shots, because we've talked about that on this show, 73% of all shots fired by police officers miss their intended target. Here he is. He's trying to shoot into the cafeteria because most of this, I think, took place cafeteria. He probably hit somebody else. they've never really accounted for who died from what.
Right.
Same thing with the Waco shooting, where I think 9 people died. They arrested 175 bikers and charged them.
Oh, well,
all
that
with
whole thing
murder.
was, don't even go there.
Well, we know that the police opened fire on those people with AR-15s, and we know that they killed some of the people. We just don't know
Right.
how many of those people they actually killed.
Right.
But we know over a year later, they're dismissing all the charges
Right.
against everybody.
Well, of
I'm
course they
thinking-
were. I could have been with that group of friends down there
I'm thinking the
hanging out
ballistics came back.
and had a patch on, and then I get arrested because I had a patch on. Really?
We screwed up half the time, over half the time.
Oh, we screwed it up.
Talking about you and your growing up in Chicago. Oh, wait, I wasn't
It's you. I grew up in Buffalo, New York.
God. I get so confused doing this
Oh
show.
my God, help us all!
right.
Help us all.
So, in New York, there's been a lawsuit filed by the tenants of a large building. I think it's a large building. Did
Yeah.
you get that impression?
Well, yes, that's
Um,
my impression.
Yeah, and they're suing because they're putting in facial recognition
Yes.
detection. That's going to be how you get in and out. And these people are like, excuse me, we already got key fobs and all this security. What is it you're trying to do?
Right.
So the spokesperson says, this area is ripe for gentrification, and they're just trying to enhance security because they're going to be pushing out the people of color and moving in white people. And this is a step towards it. And they object because they're like, listen, this building's got cameras everywhere.
Right.
If you bring something in the building, you're not
Yeah.
supposed to bring in.
That was crazy.
They'll give you a picture of you
Yes.
coming in the building, stick it under
I
your
couldn't
door.
believe
and-
that.
and-
I wouldn't live in a building
with a
like
warning.
that. Would you live in a building like that? Okay, I'm sorry, but you carried in a strange object that might have been an appliance that you're not allowed to use. So we're going to take a picture and stick this under the door.
When I lived in Chicago,
I'd be walking in, flipping them off every day. Leave me alone.
well, look, Steve, Sheila, Lisa, Janet, Kara, I hope they're all still here.
Go ahead.
So when I was about 19, 20 years old, I moved into a building in Chicago. It was called Carl Sandburg Village. Carl Sandburg was a famous author. I don't know why they named this complex. I lived on a high floor, and we had cameras back then on the front door.
Okay.
And this is like 70,
Wow.
72
Really?
or 73, right?
Right. I
Yeah.
don't mind
So it was
cameras,
just
but
a black-
facial
It
recognition,
was just
that's
a black
something
and white
else.
camera.
There's something else with
Oh, wait.
facial recognition.
I was going to tell you what I used to do
What did you do?
for amusement.
Did you used to spray paint it or something?
No. So you sit there and you got to turn on channel 13, for instance,
Okay.
on TV.
Oh, yeah.
It's closed circuit. or
Right,
something.
right. I do
Yeah.
remember these.
So I
Yeah.
would sit there, and when somebody would come in and ring a doorbell, I'm just standing there. I would access my intercom and start messing with.
What would you
I was so easy amused. I don't know what I even said.
Did they leave at that point, some of them?
Well, they'd be freaked out because there wasn't too many cameras in buildings.
Right,
then.
right.
So people didn't know how you knew or where
That
you
their shoes were red or something, or their
whatever it
they had
was,
high
right?
heels on.
You know, they're sitting there ringing a doorbell, and there's probably 60 doorbells or more. I don't know, and all of a sudden you're like, hey, get your finger off of there. Don't look at me. So whatever, right? You're on the intercom system.
You were easily amused.
Oh,
You
God.
must have been high at that point.
So
in your
anyways,
life.
so some jurisdictions, so up until now, the facial recognition system has only been in dispute in public arenas.
Correct.
And San Francisco, for
Well,
instance,
They
is
haven't been
outlawed.
putting them in private places like this, have they before?
Well, we don't know.
Okay, good point.
So, in fact, that was part of the article. They said
Mhm.
nobody really knows how much of this is going on. In this case, they're suing. So,
Right. Well, it does bother you because then somebody knows exactly when you come home every day. I mean, just everything about you. And I mean, that can be public record. That bothers me.
I was in Pennsylvania,
Mhm.
and I was driving through some place where Amco had its training,
Mhm.
when I had the Amco shop, and I saw this police car parked on the side of the road, and he had this funny device on his trunk. I couldn't help myself. I pull over. I walked up to him. Yes. What in God's name is that on your trunk?
What was it? Radar?
It was a reader could read license plates instantly
Oh,
and tell him if you were driving without a license.
wow.
Are you a stolen car? I was fascinated. I
When was
sat there-
that?
This would have been about 6 years ago. I
Wow.
think.
Okay.
So, and then, they're more common now, but I had never seen a radar like that. It was, and he showed me the screen. I mean, we spent some
Right.
time, it would
How
popping on the
interesting.
screen constantly as it was reading.
It's
So that's going on already.
right.
Okay. All right. So our last article, Holly, we're going to have to put this one. Yeah. I mean, this
Is
is
that like-
timeless. This one's timeless.
The one I have a pet peeve about right now.
So this guy gets on an airplane and he's sitting there.
Yeah, this is pretty
And
weird.
sitting right near him is a veteran with a Labrador.
I understand service dog,
Sounds
but
like-
a Labrador,
It's supposed to be a service dog,
a
right?
Labrador, a chocolate lab is a service dog sitting on his lap. A lab. How did they even think that was going to be okay? That makes no sense. That a lab is big. That is not a little dog.
I don't know.
I don't seriously.
I haven't
if I would have
said-
gotten on the plane and I was going to sit next to him, I'd immediately call over the waitress and go, "Are you serious?"
I have a theory on this case. Too,
Okay,
by the
I'm
way.
ready.
By the way, Kathy says that they take your fingerprint to go into a water park. I can't imagine why. So,
Oh, maybe to see if you're a sex offender.
So this dog attacked the guy.
Hmm.
28 stitches. His face
No,
was
it
pretty
was
messed up.
bad.
Yeah. So this is supposed to be a service dog, and service dog's supposed to be. So this happened last year, but he's just now suing the airline.
Right.
I think Delta, because he says, "Yo, guys, you shouldn't be." Yeah, it was Delta. You can't be letting a dog on that's going to attack another passenger.
Well, and then a dog sitting. I don't get this story. There's no way.
This guy suffered lacerations and punctures. You know how bad this was? This is how bad it was. Passengers pulled the dog off him, and the dog got away and attacked him again.
Right.
So here's my theory.
Well, and they had to take the 3 seats out on the plane, literally remove them
Because
from
all
the
the
plane
blood,
because
yeah.
there was so much
So
blood.
much he bled
So
so
this was
badly.
not some little dog attack. This was massive.
So I don't know how to say this gently, so I won't.
Let's do.
Well, I've noticed mostly in Chicago. I haven't noticed here because there's no black people around here. The victim was black. Here's my theory. I've seen a lot of people. I don't know if they train their dog to be hostile to blacks, or it's.
Well, I hope not.
Well, I've seen people walking their dogs in Chicago, and I've seen the dog be openly hostile
That's
towards a
awful.
black person, especially if he's the mailman and stuff, right? So this guy, I don't know, in this day and age right now,
Well,
I just, there's a part of me that thinks, this guy may have
the thing that bothers me
trained his
nowadays,
dog.
but nowadays you can, and the thing that maybe this is not true because he is a veteran, because they do have real service dogs for veterans. But now I could go online and sign my Chug, half Chihuahua, half Pug up as my service dog and get a little certificate in the mail by paying and saying she's my service dog. And then I can take you. Are you following me?
Yeah.
So maybe that's the situation. Maybe this
Yeah,
dog
labs
really
are
was
pretty-
not
The labs are
trained.
very gentle.
I
Generally.
know.
They're
That's
some of the
true. There was
gentlest
something
dogs.
weird.
So I'm sorry.
But it's still, the lab had no
Why?
business sitting in this. There's no way that the plane would take off with that dog sitting in that guy's lap.
I went to 12-step in Tucson, and I moved here, and I go back to Tucson occasionally, and there's 2 dogs at the 6:45 a.m. meeting now for these guys. They're small dogs, and I don't know, service dogs. So they
Yeah,
come to
that's
the
just,
meeting.
it's bullshit. You can go online and sign up for
maybe
it
it's
now.
not bull. I don't know.
Well, that's not fair to people who are allergic to dogs. It's sitting in the meeting. Are you following what I'm saying?
Well, my issue was sometimes the dogs like to move around.
yeah.
And I don't blame them, but they start. This one guy gets him on the chair and the collar and the leash, and it's all making noise.
I know.
So
I know. Trust me.
I guess some people bring kids. What are you going to do? Yes, they're actually called black dogs and are trained to attack people of color. Labs are hunters. They are easily trained for this. That's Ray Dean's contribution.
Mm.
I'm just suspicious.
I
Why
just-
would a lab attack? Before I knew the victim was black, I had a suspicion. I pulled up the picture. He was, and I'm just thinking, there's a whole lot of racial animus in this country, and
That's sad.
I
hope that's not true. I hope that is not what
Of course
happened.
we
I hope
hope it's
it was.
not true.
I know. I hope that is not all what happened here.
So the T-shirt.
T-shirt.
So locomotion. I'm looking in your camera. That's what good as
You
that
can
gonna
see
do?
Ken's nipple.
It's not the point. So in 1976, Locomotion Inc. was incorporated as a youth service organization with kids on the streets, right? And so I was telling AJ, I wasn't sure I would wear it. I've kind of outgrown it. I was 30 pounds lighter when I had these made.
Well,
I
we're
was-
just lucky it's so old that it didn't fall apart yet from moss or something.
It's been in a drawer for over 30 years because I was 27, I think, when I left the organization.
Mhm.
So
Tell us what it
I'm
is.
66 now.
Tell us what it is.
Isn't that 40 years?
It's something like that.
Tell you what it is. The shirt is from the
I
organization.
know, but tell them about the organization.
Well, I did. I just said I formed this organization in 76 to work with kids. You know why?
Work what kind of
'Cause
kids?
Nobody would hire me to work with
Oh,
kids.
what kind of kids were you working with? People may not know this. Elaborate upon it.
Well, mostly gang kids.
There you go.
Mostly gang kids or kids who are disenfranchised, as I like to say. In other words, kids who mostly hung out on the streets, not so much at home. I didn't work out with the kids that did a lot of homework.
Yeah.
I hung out with the kids that were hanging out. Well, a lot of them when they shouldn't be hanging
Were you
out.
posting up on the block with them?
Was I what?
You don't know that, Tar?
Posting up.
Posting up on the block. Oh,
Well, I hung out
man.
on the
It has
corners
been a
with them.
long, you were posting up.
I was posting up
There
with these
you
kids.
go.
So one,
Get with the lingo today, dude.
so you translate this one for me. I'm standing there, and here comes Eli.
Okay.
I didn't like Eli. Eli didn't like me. When I first started working in the neighborhood, he got busted for assaulting a police officer. And so he went away to what's called St. Charles. St. Charles is juvenile prison.
Okay.
And so I was getting along pretty good with a variety of gangs, including this gang that he was a member of. And he got out and he immediately asserted dominance over the other kids. And so he didn't like me because I had a lot of influence with
Sure.
these kids. And
Any kind of threat in that kind of situation.
so the first time I kind of met him, I happened to be standing talking to three kids leaning on my car. I think. Anyways, I turned, he was coming, and he swung a stick in my head. Right? Just so it happened so fast I didn't have time to
Did it
react.
hit you?
No,
Oh.
no, went. And it happened so fast I didn't have time to react. Which he interpreted to be badass, I think.
Oh,
I mean, you could tell I was, I didn't even flinch.
right.
The reason I didn't flinch was it happened before I could react.
He didn't flinch because he had slow reactions. And that was interpreted as a bad.
Second time I met him.
Freaking genius. Kids, don't improve your reaction time. Slow it down. It might save you someday. Slow it down.
He was a crazy
You'll
kid.
be a badass.
Next time I'm talking to some guys, so I'm facing there, and I feel something in my back, and this voice says, "Put your hands up." I assume it's a gun,
Right.
so I keep talking, but I put my hands up. When I'm talking, and I get to there's still something in my back. It's him.
Mm.
Could have been a finger, by the way.
Right.
I don't know if it was a gun.
Could have been something else.
Well, no, it couldn't have been anything else.
You missed the point
I
there.
know the point. wasn't low enough to be anything else. So
Maybe he was taller than you.
I finally I said, "Can I put my hands down now? Are we done?" And he said, "You could tell he's just go ahead," and walked away. Now, so we had many encounters. Here was our final encounter. He was coming down the street, and I was talking to a group of kids, and he was coming with Gallo. Gallo means rooster.
Mm-hmm.
Gallo was a shooter.
Okay.
You know what a shooter is?
Not really.
Well, a shooter is a guy in the gang that will pull the trigger.
Okay. Well, yeah, that's obviously what it should. I thought it was something else because
Nah.
you said rooster.
But I mean, he's got a track record. And
Okay.
I know it. And Eli's girlfriend, 3 of them are walking towards us. And I see Eli looking at me, and something between him and Gallo takes out this large revolver, hands it to him. And I'm thinking, he's going to shoot me.
Right. See, I would at this point I would think, nah, he's gonna mess with me again.
No, I thought, is he going to shoot me? And I started running the calculations. Like, if he shoots me, it's still light of day. Is he really willing to take that risk? There'll be witnesses.
Oh, so you're going that way.
Does he feel like he can control these guys? If
Right.
Can he get them to shut up? And I was really flipping. And he took the gun and he dropped down to the ground. And I thought, well, there's only one reason for him to be doing this.
Okay.
It's, lower profile.
Sure.
So he's staring at me. I'm staring at him. And so I broke off the conversation. I said, "Hey, guys, I got to go." And I got in the car and I backed up about a block and a half. I couldn't go forward. It was an alley I was in.
Okay.
And alleys. And if I turned and backed up and went down the street, he could have come up over the car. So I just backed up down the alley about a block and a half. And I went home. And here's what I found out. This was close to my last day on the job. Because after that, I was done. I just I can't take this anymore. I've been doing this a long time. And
yep, I understand.
This is not fun. So the story I got from the boys is, they were like, "What happened to you, man? You flipped out, you just took off, you burning rubber going backwards
right.
and stuff." And I said, "You know what's going on, Eli." And they're like, No. Eli was trying to put the gun up under the well of the tire of the car he was next to, but he didn't want to do that with me looking at him. Well, I'm not taking my eyes off him, and he's not taking his eyes off me, right?
Gotcha. Great.
So, but it was, however harmless or not harmless it was intended, right after that I resigned.
Right.
And I went to work for another organization, another part of town. I was done with that.
I understand. I got that way with teaching. It was like,
he
forget this.
came
I can't have another bomb threat.
Speaking of labs, he brought a pit bull out that, I was tormenting his buddies, his own friends, right?
He thought it was funny.
He had trained this dog to be mean.
Yeah.
And he said to me one day, he was out there with the dog and he was challenging his buddies to box, and they were like, "I don't want to box with you, And so he turned to me and he said, "Why don't you box me?" This kid was built like Muhammad Ali,
right.
But, I was in the martial arts. I'm like, I'm not going to box you because this. If you fight a kid, even if it's.
Right, you're going to get in trouble. It's your fault.
Well, if you win, you lose because he was a kid.
Right.
If he wins, you lose.
Well, you lose street cred. You're gone.
Right. So I don't want to do that. And he was old enough at that point. He was probably 18, so it wasn't going to be an issue. I wasn't going to go to jail, but my street cred. So I told him, I said, "Well, come on up to the gym," because I ran a gym. I said, "And we'll box in the gym." And he was like, anyways, he had that dog. I said, "I'm not going to box you in front of that dog. That dog will rip my throat out."
Right.
It's a crazy job. That was locomotion. That was my point. Now, all the kids in locomotion were not crazy like Eli. Eli was exceptionally psychopathic. I overheard him telling his friends, "I should have shot it out with the police instead of letting them arrest me." When he was,
right.
Yeah.
Well, he's trying to be cool in front of them.
I don't know if any of these people who showed up stayed up, but so I teach meditation Wednesday nights at the Buddhist Temple at 8484 Stultz Road every Wednesday night at 7. AJ runs the Cosmic Yogi Festival for one. That's the big thing. She flips houses, so if you got a house in distress, she's the one to talk to. And then she's a Kundalini yoga instructor, and she pops up all over at different yoga places.
It makes it fun.
It makes it fun.
Yeah. Here I am. There I am.
So you can go check out her Facebook page or website, which is what? Austin.
DallasYogaMagazine.com or Amy Jo Crowell. Oh, my Facebook's Amy Jo. I know, isn't that cute?
I've been calling her Amy Jo half the time.
Yeah.
So
We are in Texas. It does go.
so you're pretty prolific that way, yoga and flipping houses. Me, I'm doing law.
Yes, you are.
I don't know if I have any clients right now. So if you want to hire me, I'm available.
You're so funny.
Well, the reason I'm not particularly busy as a lawyer is because I retired for 15 years.
I know.
But isn't it amazing how often I answer the legal questions that
Yes.
my friends pose
But
me?
because you're your friends. You're supposed to do that for friends.
No, but I mean without going to the books.
Oh,
I
yes.
retained, for a guy who was sleeping, it's pretty amazing how much I retained.
I'm
in law
amazed at
school.
how much drugs you did and you still retained it too.
Yeah, that's something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a feat in itself.
Not doing drugs now.
Correct. We
Right.
are sober.
Although Illinois just passed Marijuana Legalization Act, and it's just waiting for the governor to sign it. And I'm very proud of my home state of Illinois for doing that, because even though I don't smoke or use a lot of marijuana,
He doesn't use it all. He really doesn't.
I'm still proud of Illinois because I think that we have to decriminalize,
Yes.
stop demonizing people who use marijuana. I believe we should decriminalize all drugs, but it's time. And in conjunction with what's going on in Illinois, like other jurisdictions, the Cook County Prosecutor's Office is saying that they are going to abandon the convictions, dismiss the convictions
Yes.
against those who were previously convicted, which means if your only crime or crimes was marijuana possession, you don't have to keep answering yes every time you've asked if you've been
Put in jail or arrested.
yeah, because
Mhm.
right now, if you go to any kind of housing, they're going to ask you about your criminal record. You try to get a job anywhere, they want to ask you if you have a criminal record. And so two people walk in and both, one has a criminal conviction, one doesn't.
That's it.
And that's as plain as black and white. No, I meant that. Well,
So what's the law? Are they actually going to be allowed to?
Jamie been in the program a long time too, and she's worried about the smell. But I said
I know.
earlier
agree, Jamie.
that when I
There's a
was
lot
in
I'm worried
Chicago, because Jamie's on the south side, and that's where I spent a lot of my time. I walked along Lakefront. I smelled weed in more than once.
Yeah.
And she has too. I get it. It kind of stimulates
Yeah.
stroll down memory lane.
It's just one of those things I think that we haven't had to face. Whereas, like, we go into a restaurant and they're drinking next to us. I mean, every restaurant in Dallas drinks. So it's one of those things where just if we're uncomfortable, we leave.
Well, even though the show
Yeah.
ended, let me say this. The first time I walked into a dispensary, I had been clean about 6 years. And I went in with a friend who had cancer.
Mhm.
I'd never been to a dispensary. Have
Mhm.
you ever
I
been?
went.
in
Yeah, I
one?
went in one this summer with my brother in Colorado. I had to. I was like, I want to go see it.
Well, he had a
The
medical
joints
card.
were perfect.
Oh, I didn't see that.
I asked to see one, and it was like perfect.
They didn't let you see them in the store, did they?
Yeah, they did.
Oh, because it's legal recreational.
Yeah.
Okay. So we went into a medical marijuana dispensary.
Oh no, this was illegal.
So I
Yeah.
couldn't get past the front door.
Oh, okay.
And I had to sit in the hallway.
Mhm.
But Jerry was just going to try out medical marijuana for the first time.
Sure.
He had been very resistant. And so we walked in. Jerry's thing was I smoked once in college. I didn't like it.
What's wrong with him?
So
I didn't really like pot either.
He had been in 12-step recovery, been in AA, and here he's taking chemo, and he was not doing the marijuana. Finally, he capitulated. Anyways, we walked in, and my eyes were like,
right,
because the smell,
right,
is.
It is.
And he looks at me and like, what? And I'm like, dude,
right.
This is a smell,
right?
You know. So
no, it is, and it's very pungent.
Yeah.
It is. There's no question.
And I don't dislike the smell. Anyways,
okay.
Was there a point to that? Oh, I was saying thank you, Illinois,
Good job, Illinois. Let's give them a round of applause.
Colorado,
hey,
Oregon, I think. It needs to sweep the nation. And then talk to me about heroin, cocaine, all the other stuff.
Did you see Trump with the Queen?
Malcolm says it's also Alaska and Washington. It's legal there, huh?
Did you see Trump with the Queen? They didn't let him stay at the
palace.
Nope.
Yeah.
Whereas Obama stayed.
Oh well, nobody's going to ask that guy to stay at their house.
No.
But
sorry, it was just humorous looking to me.
Oh, you mean that ill-fitting?
His wife looked beautiful. First lady looked beautiful.
Listen, I don't look so great in a tuxedo either. So if you want to pick on the guy, find something
else. You know, the Queen is standing there going, I can't believe I'm standing here next to this guy.
You know.
She is. They didn't let him stay in the palace. They say it was under construction.
Before the show started, and it's already over, I said, I don't want to wear this shirt because it's much smaller than in my stomach. And, you know, when I was in Chicago, people they saw my stomach.
Okay.
On it because they haven't seen me every day.
Okay.
So I was trying to take photos without my stomach. And this shirt is not doing me justice. Well, it does because I'm overweight. And then you said, well, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, yeah, no. So I should wear a blouse.
A blouse.
A blouse.
Yes. But sometimes when blouses don't help because you're skinnier actually than the blouse.
Yeah. Look at that acerbic comment by Jamie. Now that white guys are figuring out how to make money from pot, it will be legal everywhere. Well, the argument is a lot of people in black community are saying now that it's legal, this is a little bit different than is that you can't look who's benefiting financially. It's not
right.
Black
you know what? That's really funny.
Typically don't have the money. It is $20,000, as I recall, to make a non-refundable fee to apply for a dispensary in Illinois back when there was only medical marijuana. $20,000 non-refundable fee. So, you know, that kind of eliminates the riffraff. You know, it should be accessible. There should be some sort of lottery system. Like, listen, give us a reasonable amount of $3,000. Fill out the application. We're going to put you all in a basket, and then, you know, we'll award it to you. Then maybe you got to come up with more money, you know, so that, you know, at least that guy can go out and come to somebody who's got some money and go, listen, I won the lottery. Could you give me another 17,000? Because that's what it's going to take.
This is how you're going to run it?
What? I'm not running one, but I want you to know that.
Oh my God. Yes. Okay. Can we go?
Yeah. Jamie's wired, man. The former Speaker House spokesperson for the industry. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, just wrapping it up. White people are getting over like a fat rat in a cheese factory on this deal. And you know what? People in Texas think don't like white people. There's a strange thing going on because if you try to be sensitive and aware here in our environment, it's often interpreted as prejudice against your own.
I know.
Okay.
Have you been watching All in the Family? You know, they've been having reruns on TV. No. Friggin' love it. I mean, if they made the exact same show with the exact same script with different people and put it on TV, they probably wouldn't be allowed to run it. I think that's what they should do. I think they should take the exact scripts, with different people and remake that show. and put
Well,
it
they
on
might be
TV.
doing that. I think
I
they
hope
did
they
that
do.
on PBS.
They did a live one. I know
Yeah,
that.
that's what I
Yeah.
mean.
No, I think they
I
should
didn't
do
see
like
it.
a series and literally use the same scripts.
You know what I've been watching? Mom.
Oh, I love that show.
I just started watching.
Oh, I've watched Mom.
I'm behind a couple of seasons.
Oh,
I
I
think.
love Mom. Yeah.
Yeah, it's about people in 12-step recovery.
Mhm.
Very
A
chaotic.
lot of it is very
A lot of
true.
chaotic family stuff.
Mhm.
A lot of recovery.
Mhm.
A lot of depictions of AA meetings.
Yep.
Jamie had nice coffee. That's why she's wired up.
All
I can't have caffeine this late. All right, so the show is over.
right.
So let me
So-
just say
Oh, Lordy.
a shout out again to Roadmasters
Roadmasters.
for
bicycle.
helping me out today.
Yes.
And a shout out to Cosmic Yogi Festival. I'll be there in November.
Yeah.
And the Buddhist Center of Dallas, located at
Awesome.
8484 Stoltz Road. And
I still want to have a party there.
well, I wish I could help you. So, and check us out or tell your friends. Tell your friends. The show's going to get better.
We hope. Okay,
right.
love y'all. Bye.
Peace out.